Nature's Numbers by Stewart. Who is Stewart? Stewart is a mathematician who wrote the Nature's Numbers and the chapter 1, the natural order. According to him, we live in a universe full of patterns. 400 years ago, a German astronomer named Johannes Kepler wrote a small book named The Six-Cornered Snowflake. Kepler didn't make an experiment. He just thought harder about the pieces about various knowledge. His main evidence was a six-fold symmetry of snowflake. If you put an identical coins in the table and try to pack them as closely as possible, you will get a honeycomb arrangement, in which every coin goes in every age and it's surrounded by six other arranged in a perfect hexagon. And now it's time for the patterns and numerology. But before I tackle about this, let me ask you first, what is pattern for you? Pattern possess as well beauty and utility. Once we all learn to recognize a background pattern, exceptions suddenly stand out. The simplest pattern is numerical and we use numerology to explain it. Numerology is the easiest method for finding pattern. Patterns are close to pace and transition. To further explain it, let me tell you about fractals and chaos. Fractals and chaos are described in the nonlinear system theory. Chaos are unpredictable, and fractals are geometric shapes or waves. Examples of shapes associated with fractals are circles found in its examples extended to stripes and spots on animals. Now let's move on to the chapter 2, Nature of Numbers. Different groups of people that constitute this vast quantitative universe in which we live view mathematics from different perspectives and for it have different utilities. For instance, an entrepreneur's goal is to make use of mathematics in order to exploit and capitalize on the natural phases of the vast quantitative universe. On the other hand, the scientist's instinct is to understand the workings of the quantitative universe and the phenomena that give rise to it and to its continuance through the elegant language that is mathematics. While the engineer's instinct is to endeavor to make use of the ensuing body of the new understanding to which scientists give birth in order to augment the quantitative achieved. Ultimately, mathematicians work to define the patterns that gave rise to the quantitative universe and the ensuing patterns to which the quantitative universe gave rise. Ancient Greek geometers postulated that the paths around which planets traveled were circular. Kepler, however, contradicted what was considered to be the mathematical foundation of the dogma of astronomy, the circularness of planetary orbits, and said that these paths were, in fact, elliptical. This contradiction was later found to be a factual refute of what was thought to be an infallible dogma of astronomy. Isaac Newton, who discovered the motion of an object, is described a mathematical relation between the forces that act on the body and the acceleration it experiences. Mathematicians and physicists learn quite different lessons. Acceleration is a subtle concept. It is not a fundamental quantity such as length of mass. It is a rate of change. In fact, it is a second-order rate of change, that is, a rate of change of a rate of change. The velocity of a body, the speed with which it moves in a given direction, is just a rate of change. It is the rate at which the body's distance from some chosen point changes. The discovery of calculus was created by two men, Isaac Newton and Gottfried Leibniz. Although they were credited for its creation, the two thought of its foundation differently. As time passed and more people tried to dig deeper on how to understand calculus, the physicists use calculus to understand nature and how it behaves. Mathematicians still worry on what it really means. Through the discovery of calculus and the different perspective of humanity, mathematics definitely is useful in many ways. Especially in nature, it is used to know on how it behaves and its phenomena and how strangely the world is somewhat made up of mathematics. The basic idea of genetics is that in every organism there is a combination of different factors that establishes features of its body plan. These factors are shuffled and eventually will combine again with its passed from the parents to the offspring. Erwin Chargaff, an Australian-born biochemist, has a rule that the four bases of the DNA molecule happen in related proportions. Charles Darwin announced the conventional evolutionary theory stating that there is change in the form of an animal since there are random mutations that are followed by subsequent selection of those who are most able to survive and reproduce their kind. Nelson and Pilger published a computer simulation in 1994 that shows the eye can definitely evolve gradually and naturally, which agrees with Darwin's principle of natural selection. In the past, the ancient human civilization organized the stars in the way of portraying animals and mythic heroes, but people proved that by using the three-dimensional geometry or the organizing principle and placed the Orions belt at the correct position, we would find that they are at different distance from the Earth. By observing how the heavenly bodies behave, people came to a conclusion that the solar system is full of resonances. Resonance is a relationship between periodically moving objects in which their cycles are locked together. With the aid of our technological advancement, people are now able to predict lunar and solar eclipses and even the returns of comets. Mathematics makes our life orderly and prevents chaos. Certain qualities that are nurtured by mathematics are power of reasoning, creativity, abstract or spatial thinking, critical thinking, problem solving, ability, and even effective communication skills. Mathematics is of central importance to modern society. It provides the vital underpinning of the knowledge of economy. It is essential in the physical sciences, technology, and business. Mathematics forms the basis of most scientific and industrial research and development. Mathematical sciences are an important part of modern-day technological innovation and development. Sciences help us to understand the spread of flu, earthquakes, and avalanches, political upheavals, and the national economic fluctuations, and much more. And that would be all. Thank you.